Good evening and welcome to the 1206th regular meeting and public hearing of the Livonia City Planning Commission. I wish to inform all interested persons in our audience that for petitions on tonight's agenda, which involve a question of zoning, the Planning Commission will make a recommendation to City Council, and the City Council, after holding their own public hearing, will make the final determination as to whether a petition is approved or denied. The Planning Commission holds the only public hearing on requests for preliminary plats and or vacating petitions. The Commission's recommendation is forwarded to City Council for the final determination as to whether the petition is accepted or rejected. If a petition requesting a waiver of use or a site plan is denied tonight, the petitioner will have 10 days in which to appeal the decision in writing to City Council. Resolutions adopted by the City Planning Commission become effective 7 days after the date of adoption. The Planning Commission and professional staff have reviewed each of these petitions upon their filing. The staff has furnished the Commission with both approving and denying resolutions, which the Commission may or may not use depending on the outcome of the proceedings tonight. If our Secretary is ready, please call the roll.
Mr. Long.
Present.
Mr. Ventura.
Present.
Caremagno's here. Chairman Wilshaw.
It is present.
And Bonjero and Denaro are absent.
All right, and also with us tonight we have Jacob Uhazy and we have Stephanie Reese, both from our planning department. They will be assisting us in the meeting, providing us with background information on our agenda items, which contains a single agenda item, and that is in our public hearings section, so we're going to start with that. And 1 second here, if the Secretary is ready, if you can read out item number 1 on our agenda.
Number 1 is petition 2023-10-02-13 submitted by Michael Duffield, requesting waiver use under approval section 6.32 of the Livonia zoning ordinance as amended to operate a ski and snowboard training facility called Shredder Livonia at 32543 Schoolcraft Road, located on the south side of Schoolcraft between Hubbard and Farmington Road in the northwest quarter of section 27.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Uhazy.
Good afternoon or good evening. This is a request to operate a ski and snowboard training facility. It is located on the south side of Schoolcraft between Hubbard Avenue and Farmington Road. The current zoning is M1 light manufacturing. Approval to operate this type of use falls under section 16.32 of the zoning ordinance. Because of the building's open spaces and high ceilings, the industrial buildings are desired for fitness and training centers. A key criterion in determining whether this type is appropriate is ensuring that all parking and egress to the facility does not pose a safety hazard to interfere with regular traffic. The subject site measures approximately 160 feet by 577 feet for a total lot area of about 92,320 square feet. The multi-tenant industrial building on the site is approximately 31,000 square feet in size and is located near the middle of the property. Parking is located along the east side of the building. The surrounding neighborhood to the east and west are industrial uses of M1 and M2. To the south of the property is zoned PL. North is the I-96 expressway. Excuse me 1 second, I gotta bring up the site plan. It's not. All right, the proposal is for Shredders Livonia would occupy a middle unit in the building. The space measures about 80 feet by 68 feet for a total of 5,440 square feet. The main entrance would be located in the southeast corner of the unit. The floor layout includes a lobby and reception area, 2 restrooms, a large open area with 10-foot high ramp and 2 6-foot high ramps. The petitioner is not planning any exterior building modifications with this proposal. Parking require a total of 22 parking spaces. Even though students could park anywhere on the site, there are at least 22 parking spaces in proximity to the subject unit. The business operation, according to the petitioner, would have an average size or class size of 4 to 5 young adults, most of whom are dropped off. The busier classes generally run in the afternoon and evening and not during peak operating hours of the businesses in the complex. With that, Mr. Chair, I have a number of correspondence to read out.
Yes, if you could please read the correspondence.
This is from, the first is from the Engineering Department, dated October 18th, 2023. In accordance with your request, the Engineering Division has reviewed the above received petition. We have no objections to the proposed waiver use at this time, but would like to note the following items. The subject parcel is assigned the address range of 3254 through 32553 Schoolcraft Road, with the address of 32543 Schoolcraft Road being assigned to the overall parcel. The legal description included with the submitted drawings appears to be correct and should be used in conjunction with this project should the waiver use be approved. The existing parcel is currently served by public sanitary sewer, water main, and storm sewer. The submitted drawings do not include any information regarding proposed services to the building, but we do not believe there will be any negative impacts to the system with the proposed usages. Any work within the Schoolcraft right-of-way will require permitting through the City of Livonia's Engineering Department. And that is signed Dave Lear, Assistant City Attorney, or Assistant City Engineer. Next is from the Fire Marshal Brian Kukla, dated October 19th, 2023. The office has reviewed the site plan submitted in conjunction with a request to modify a commercial building on property located at the above referenced address. We have no objections to the proposal with the following stipulations. 1, if space is sprinkled or fire alarm monitored, these systems must remain in function as designed. 2, due to proximity to the ramps to egress and potential height of ramps, exit signs, emergency lights may have to be positioned for a better visual on egress routes. A further detailed plan review will take place when this division receives an official plan set. Next we have from the Police Department, I received October 18th, 2023. I have reviewed the plans in conjunction with the revised petition. I have no objections to the proposal. Please feel free to contact me should we have any questions. Signed, Paul Walters, Sergeant of the Traffic Bureau. From Inspection, the Director of Inspection, on October 27th, 2023, pursuant to your request, the above referenced petition has been reviewed. The department has no objections to this petition. Signed, Jerome Hanna, Director of Inspection. From the County Department, I've reviewed the address connected to the above noted petition. As there are no outstanding amounts receivable, general or water and sewer, I have no objection to the proposal. Signed, Connie Kupla, Chief Accountant. Received October 24th, 2023. From the Treasurer's Office, in accordance with your request, the Treasurer's Office has reviewed the name and addresses connected with the above noted petition. At this time, there are no taxes due. Therefore, I do not have any objection to this proposal. 2023 summer taxes were received in the mail and paid in the afternoon of October 20th, 2023. Signed, Linda Scheel. And finally, we have an email correspondence received November 13th, 2023 from a Keith Skekto, to whom it may concern. I am writing to you because I cannot be there in person on Tuesday, November the 14th for the above petition. The Macomb Group, located in the 32567 Schoolcraft building, directly next to the property in question, is against the waiver to allow the facility in the 32451 through 32553 building to operate as a skate/ski training facility. The Macomb Group has been in our building for 20 plus years, and we have deliveries throughout the day. The added traffic in the easement would greatly impact our daily business and create undue stress and liability issues that we do not wish to engage in. I do not wish to hold back an entrepreneur for doing business. I just ask that the Planning Commission stick to the current zoning ordinance plan and not allow this type of business to operate at this location described in petition 2023-10-2-13. And this is the end of the correspondence.
All right, thank you, Mr. Uhazy. Is there any questions for our planning staff? I don't see any questions from our planning staff. The petitioner is in our audience. Good evening, sir. You're welcome to come forward to our podium, and we'll ask you to start with your name and address for our record.
Good evening. Yes, I'm Michael Duffield. I'm the owner-operator of Shredder.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Duffield. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about your business?
Yeah, a lot. So Shredder is, as was stated, is an indoors training, just our indoor school for ski and snowboard school for kids aged 1 through 10. And it's designed to take out the environment of learning how to snowboard, the snow, the fear of the mountains, and bring it in an indoor, safe, controlled, fun environment for kids so they can learn and make the day overall more enjoyable for families when they can get out to the hill. Because half the time it's just, 2 runs in hot chocolate because they're tired or cold, they don't know what they're doing. It's hard to learn. This brings it inside in a quick little 40-minute session over a 7 to 10 week course of lessons where they're learning on a curriculum that is based off of the PSAI and the AASI, so professional skiing and snowboarding instructors classes that are taught throughout the country. So what they're being taught here, they can go anywhere out west or to any local hill, get lessons there as well, and they'll be receiving the same type of instruction. So the school is not designed to replace on-mountain riding by any means. It's designed to help kids get there faster, safer, and have more fun with it. Like that was stated earlier as well, it's a 40-minute class. It is a drop-off style class, but most parents don't. If you think about like a swim class or soccer, a lot of parents love to sit there and watch their kids progress and learn, and that's the whole point of that lobby area there, and have it nice and wide open for them to watch. So with, I can understand the safety concern with in the industrial area, and I appreciate this waiver use giving the opportunity to bring this here. It's there's going to be parents in the helping the little ones get in and out of the class, and only 4 at a time. So it's only going to be a very, very light traffic throughout each hour, kind of at one time. And luckily, how we have it set up on the site plan here, of how this building is set up, all of the parking is on one side of the building, and the shipping and receiving for this building and the adjacent is all on another avenue. They do not share a ramp. It will not, cause any strife to any type of deliveries being made at this building once it gets filled up with other tenants or any other adjacent building. And I stated as well, luckily, that the width of the front lot of the building, there's at least the required parking in that designated area. A lot of parking in front of it, but it is first come, first serve, but there's a lot in that front area that at a max time, every hour could only see 5 or 6 vehicles tops. So really excited to bring this to Livonia and get kids learning how to ski and snowboard.
Sounds good. We appreciate your presentation, and let's see if we have any questions from any of our commissioners for you. Does anybody have any questions for our petitioner? Mr. Ventura.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was not able to attend the study session, so if these questions have been asked and answered, you can just tell me that.
No, not a problem.
Looking at the lobby area, is that an enclosed area?
It'll be
Or is it
open.
wide open?
Open, so it'll just be like a half-height pony wall. So the only walls will be those bathrooms. Those won't even be full height to the ceiling either, because the bottom of joists are 16 feet.
Right.
And then, it's just a wide, that on the left side there is a big kind of U-shaped desk that we would utilize for the front reception area for check-in, answering phone calls, monitoring the facility. And then that lobby area does have a dividing wall, but would only be a partial height pony wall.
I see the note pony wall, so that's just a,
Yeah.
and so you'll have seating there so
Yep.
parents can watch? and so
Correct.
forth. Okay.
Yep.
How do your students get up to the 10-foot high ramp platform or the 6-foot high ramp platform? I don't see any stairs.
That is correct. They walk up them, either strapped into the skis or or definitely not the
So
board,
they
but
walk up the incline.
correct, yeah, it's only a,
So they learn how to do
it's a
that.
15-degree slope. So the design of the L shape for the two little ones is to be a one-way traffic, one way up, one way down.
Yeah,
And then the big ramp is about 20 to 25 feet wide, so enough room to unstrap and have them walk up either, depending on the age. There's the 1 to 3 classes are parent involved, so parents have to be there, and those kids aren't getting on the big ramp anyway at that time.
Right.
And then 4 to 10, depending on their skill level, either learning to carry the skills, because that's also part of it. Part of being on the mountain is carrying skis, carrying your board, carrying your equipment, because it gets heavy for parents lugging it around. I have a 7 and 4-year-old, and I do that every weekend.
Right.
But yeah, it's walking up the ramp on each side. So it's easel, little way up on one side. Some of the facilities out west that I forgot to mention, this is a franchise that we're bringing here. It was based out in Colorado. 6 currently in Colorado that have been operating for 12 years, and we'll be the first bringing this to Michigan. And a couple of facilities there do have little handrails to kind of help the kiddos up on the side as well if needed. So that's not in the design right now, but should it be needed, and I don't think it is from the classes that I've seen out there and using the ramps myself. It's easy enough and a small enough pitch that they can walk up.
Okay. And I guess my last observation is that it appears that the bathrooms are 10 feet away from the bottom of the ramp. Is that the side they'd be going up? I'm just thinking if somebody came down that side, they could easily run into the bathroom.
They could. Great observation. They could. That is designed to be the up direction for
Okay,
it. And
so
we
you
will have that. We will
regulate
have
that,
that labored.
so-
It's an instruction-led class,
that
one
wouldn't
instructor
happen.
for the 4. Yeah, so it won't. There's a chance that it will, but it's not designed to be that way, at least.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Ventura. And Mr. Duffield, can you give us your background in training in snowboarding, skiing? I know you have some experience yourself.
Definitely, yeah. I started snowboarding when I was 13, so over 23 years now. I skied for 2 years, been snowboarding ever since. In college, I taught some classes at the local hill at Michigan Tech as well. Taught for 2.5 years there, and was also part of the mountain crew, just doing maintenance around the hill. Have not taught skiing classes, but have done enough snowboarding, and also with my little girls, again, 4 and 7-year-old, they've been snowboarding since they were 2, so going into their 5th and 3rd seasons this year, and have taught in that realm. Plus, aside from the teaching aspect of things, just management positions that I've had as well in school, at a local pizza restaurant, in my current work job as well. So having that business aspect to it to tie it all together.
Excellent, thank you. That helps us understand your background as well. Any other questions for our petitioner, Mr. Long?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. You said the class size is four kids?
4 kids, correct.
Okay, and so that, obviously that's small. What's your hours of operation? How many kids do you envision having in a?
Sure. Planning on anywhere from 8 to 7, 8 to 8, maybe starting at 9, depending on when demand needs. Even out west of the 6 there, that every facility is different scheduling, different timing. So it all depends on what people would like to sign up for, what they do, but we're going to be available to be there for them. And we'll, obviously in the first year, going to be a lot of fluctuation of when we will be scheduling and seeing when the peak is, but it will be, 8 to 9-ish from 6 to 7 or so. In the very beginning with, getting people introduced to it and minimal staff, it'll be 1 class an hour. So it's just gonna be the 4 students every hour, 1 instructor. As we start to grow, we can start overlapping those classes every 20 minutes or so. So at peak times, I think the biggest facility out there is doing 3 classes an hour for a couple hours, starting on the hour, on the 20, and on the 40. And then that way it's designed to have, a quick 40-minute thing for the kids, and there's a 20-minute break for the instructor. So regardless of what their schedule, there's always that 20-minute break for the employee. So very, very peak, I don't foresee us getting to that 3 in an hour, at least for a few years if we get to that point. But definitely that overlapping and having 8 students there, which could potentially mean 8 to 10 cars, 12, depending on how many employees we have working at the time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Any other questions?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Comagno?
how do you advertise yourself in the Metro Detroit area? How do you let people know you're here?
It's going to be a lot of word of mouth to start, and social media advertising, getting in local papers. trying to do a lot of, brochures, getting the name out there, telling as many people as we can, all of our friends in the area, and investing a little bit more in that marketing in the beginning. Like I said, the franchise is helping us establish that internet, social media presence, and getting internet searches set up. So if people are starting to search different classes, we can pop up on that front. And it's been word of mouth for them as well, is how they've been as successful as they've been. Once a parent and student gets in there, they tell all of their friends about, hey, check out this awesome class my kid's doing. It's something different other than these other activities that we have them all signed up in. You might want to check it out. So I'm not going to be relying on the word of mouth at first. We'll be doing a little bit more materials, reaching out to local reporters, try to get ads in the paper, ads in different types of magazines in local areas, and not just Livonia, but the surrounding cities as well.
Okay. How about any signage at this property?
No, we will have windows decals and stickers in the door. I know we were looking at maybe having one on the outside, depending on what we can get approval with the city, but it's not proposed right now because it's not needed. It's a destination type facility. I don't need people driving by, seeing the sign, and be like, oh, hey, I'm going to check that out, because that's not the classes that we offer.
Okay.
It's a destination class, so once they find it the first time, they're going to know exactly where it is and what to do.
Two more questions. You'd mentioned rentals. Last time you met with us at the planning study session,
Yep.
you mentioned rentals. Are the rentals for the use in your building, or are the rentals for taking to, say, Mount Holly, Mount Brighton, somewhere around here? How does that
To
work?
take anywhere local, correct, yeah. So in the facility, we will have all the equipment that is needed for the students. They're encouraged to bring their own helmets for safety, but we obviously will have extra on hand. But that is included in the cost of the class, and signing up for the sessions is the equipment needed to participate. The rental program is going to be separate, and that would be students wanting to rent for either a season, for a weekend, and taking it to the local hills.
Okay. And then the final question I've got is, once you're approved, how long will it take you to build this out? When will you be open?
Shooting for mid-January, as soon as we can. Luckily, the build-out that we have to do, it's not much. The landlord is luckily going to help us with the bathrooms in that front area. Those two ramps, there's a company that the franchise has used before for all 6 of their facilities called Urban Mountain. They're going to come out, and they said it'd take them a week to construct those. Lay down the floor, it's called Dolomer. It's like a gymnastics mat that just covers the floor, so it's a nice, soft, cushiony type material. And as long as things go according to plan, and luckily it's not much demo in the building because it's completely wide open now. A month or 2 at the max.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Caremagno. Any other questions for our petitioner? And I don't think there's anyone in the audience, but if there's anyone in the audience wishing to speak, I don't see anybody. I wanted to give that opportunity since it is a public hearing. Mr. Duffield, is there anything else that you would like to let us know before we make our decision?
No, thank you. I think you've heard everything from my end. So
All right.
thank you for your time very much.
Well, thank you for
Appreciate
being here, and we're going to make our decision here in just a moment. I will close the public hearing at this time, and a motion is in order.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Long.
I'd like to offer an approving resolution. The request to operate a ski and snowboard training facility, Shredder, Livonia, at 32535 Schoolcraft Road is hereby approved, subject to City Council approval and the following conditions. Number 1, the site plan identified as project number S0.1 dated October 17th, 2023, prepared by Rushfield LLC is hereby approved and shall be adhered to. Number 2, that adequate off-street parking shall be provided to comply with the parking requirements for employees and patrons under section 9.05 of the zoning ordinance. Number 3, only conforming signs are approved with this petition, and any additional signage shall be separately submitted for review and approval by the Zoning Board of Appeals. Number 4, the specific plan referenced in this approving resolution shall be submitted to the inspection department at the time of application for building permits. And number 5, under section 13.13 of the Livonia zoning ordinance, this approval is valid for 1 year only from the date of approval by the City Council. Unless the appropriate permits are obtained, this approval shall be null and void at the expiration of said period.
Is there support?
I'll support.
All right, we have a motion made by Mr. Long, supported by Mr. Ventura, to approve the petition. Is there any discussion on the motion? If there's no discussion, if the secretary is ready, please call the roll.
Mr. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Ventura?
Aye.
Chair Magno votes aye. Chairman Wilshaw.
Votes aye, motion passes. We'll go to city council with an approving recommendation. We wish you luck with your business.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And we now move on to the miscellaneous item section of our agenda. Item number 2.
That's the approval of the 2024 Planning Commission schedule.
All right, we've had a chance to look at that. I believe we discussed at our study meeting, and there was no significant changes offered, as I recall from anyone. So if that's the case, I think we can just receive and file that at the direction of the chair, and we'll have our schedule for the next year.
Okay.
There are no objections from anybody, so we'll mark that as a receive and file at direction of chair. And that now we move on to the last item on our agenda.
And that is the minutes of the 1,205th public hearing and regular meeting held by the Planning Commission on October 17th, 2023.
And all members were present for that meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
By Mr. Long, supported by
Support.
Mr. Ventura. And that is a motion to approve the minutes. If there's no objection, I think we can safely show 4 on that. I see no objections from anyone, so we will mark that as approved. That takes us to the end of our agenda. Is there any other business to come before the Planning Commission this evening? If not, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Support.
By Mr. Long and Mr. Ventura again. You got the,
Lighten up the scoreboard.
yeah, you got the whole evening here. If there's no objection on that motion, I think again we can show that approved with a vote of 4 on that, and that takes care of the adjournment of this meeting. So with that, the meeting has been adjourned. I do want to thank Livonia Television staff for bringing this meeting to the community, and I want to wish a good night to the citizens of Livonia. The adjournment will be at 7:27 p.m. Good night, Livonia.